You're tuned to the nowhere signal. What you're about to hear was never meant to be found. I woke up to silence. Not the quiet of a slow morning, not the kind you get before the world stirs. This was different. Too complete. Like someone had muted the planet. No birds. No cars. No hum of appliances. Just the soft creak of my bed sheets as I sat up. I reached for my phone out of habit. No bars. No Wi-Fi. A gray banner stretched across the top of the screen. Error, location not found. I blinked. Refreshed the page. Nothing. I tried opening the clock app. Even that crashed. At first I thought the service was down. Power outage maybe. Storms could do weird things in the city. I pulled back the curtain to check the weather, and the world wasn't there. Not the city. Not the street. Not the sky. Just white. Endless, perfect white. No gradient. No depth. No clouds or sun or anything resembling distance. It wasn't fog either, it was textureless. Like standing inside a blank page. I pressed my hand against the glass. The window was cool, solid. Real. But nothing outside of it was. I stood in my apartment for a long time, unsure what to do. Everything inside was normal. Coffee mug on the counter. Plants on the sill. Books lined up like I left them. Even the blinking red light on my router, still trying to connect. I opened the front door. The hallway was wrong. My building always had 16 doors along the floor. But now, I only saw 2. Mine, and one across from me. The others weren't missing, they just weren't rendered. The walls extended into the white void like unpainted models. The carpet ended abruptly, cutting off into hard edges. Where the railing should be, there was nothing. Just the blank. I stepped out. The air didn't feel like anything. Not warm, not cold. Not even air, really. I walked to the other door, 2B. I knocked. Silence. Then the door opened just a crack. No one behind it. Just more white. Like the room beyond had been wiped clean. I backed away. I thought about calling someone. My sister, maybe. Or 911. But my phone was still stuck on that same message. Error, location not found. I sat on the floor. I felt like I was in a video game where the map hadn't fully loaded yet. And maybe I was. Because right then, a small, flickering shape appeared in the corner of the hall. It looked like text. Floating midair, pixelated and shaky. I walked toward it. It said, "You are currently outside of the rendering zone. Please return to the last stable checkpoint." I looked around. There wasn't one. Only this blank world, this unfinished corridor, and the dawning realization that something had gone deeply wrong. I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't hallucinating. I was awake. Just not here. I descended the stairs slowly, testing each step like it might vanish beneath me. Parts of the railing were still missing, cut off mid-air, like someone forgot to finish designing them. Halfway down, I saw a shadow flicker on the wall beside me. I froze. But when I turned, nothing was there. No source, no movement. Just a blank space and the quiet hum of not quite silence. At the bottom of the stairwell, the door to the outside wasn't fully there. It looked like a cardboard cutout, just the idea of a door. No knob. No hinges. The kind of shape you drag into a design program but hadn't given function to yet. Still, when I touched it, it opened. I stepped out into the white. Not fog. Not snow. Not cloud. White. Like I was inside the negative space of a dream. The sky wasn't above me, it was around me. The ground, what little of it existed, was a narrow strip of pavement that stretched out ahead like a bridge through the void. It ended about 40 feet ahead. Just stopped. Beyond it was nothing. And still, I walked. The pavement beneath my feet crackled faintly. It felt real, but my footfalls didn't echo. There were pieces of the world floating in the distance, street signs, traffic lights, fragments of brick walls. Suspended mid-air and gently rotating. One street sign hovered off to my left. It read, Null Avenue. I blinked. Another one appeared as I turned, home, my chest tightened. I kept walking. Just past the edge of the pavement, I found a patch of sidewalk. It wasn't connected to anything. Just a rectangle of cracked concrete, floating about a foot off the white. Spray painted across it in faded red was a message, "You woke up wrong." I stepped onto it. The surface held. To my right, something else began to flicker into existence, a brick wall, half finished. No mortar between the layers. Just bricks stacked in place. And above it, a neon sign, sputtering to life. It said, "Now rendering," and then below it, "Memory block unstable, retry, Y/N." Before I could respond, a deep hum filled the air. Like a machine powering on in the distance. I turned. Far beyond the floating objects, something tall was beginning to appear. A structure. A tower. Black against the white, like a cutout bleeding through the blank. It was solid. And it was calling me. I couldn't explain it. But in a world where nothing was finished, it was the first thing that felt intentional. I started walking again. The white around me thickened. Or maybe I was fading. The closer I got to the black tower, the more broken things became. The pavement beneath me fractured like it was made of puzzle pieces with missing edges. Small floating cubes of sidewalk drifted past my ankles, vanishing if I stared too long. I stopped trying to understand the space around me. It didn't obey rules. It didn't even try to. The air had a low hum to it now. Constant, like feedback. Somewhere in the distance, I heard what might have been static. Or wind. Or breath. Then a voice spoke. Not aloud. Not exactly. It came from a window hanging in midair. Just a glowing blue rectangle with text scrolling slowly across it. Echolog 07A, recovered. A woman's voice played beneath the text. Soft. Familiar. You have to find the reboot point. Before memory fails. My heart caught in my chest. I knew that voice. My sister. I stepped closer. The window distorted and glitched, then blinked out entirely. Another one appeared 10 feet away. Different voice. A man's this time. Echolog 14D, incomplete. He's not supposed to be here. He never made it past sync. The voice sounded mechanical. Filtered. Behind the window, faint images flickered, blurry childhood memories maybe. A carousel. A hospital hallway. My old apartment. All cut together out of order like someone had shuffled my life into a corrupted playlist. I turned in place. There were dozens of these now. Floating all around. Some static. Some whispering. One repeated the same sentence again and again, null object. Null object. Null object. I walked faster. I had to find the tower. It was the only real thing here. Or the closest thing to real. The world pulsed again, like a system lag. Everything froze for half a second, then caught up. My feet moved out of sync with my vision. The glitch was spreading. Another message flickered ahead, stuttering like a broken subtitle. Identity structure unsupported. Would you like to restore a previous version of yourself? Yes and no, it hovered beside a rusted doorframe embedded in midair. There was no wall, just the frame and a brass handle. I reached out. But before I could touch it, the sky rippled. Not above me. Around me. The entire white world flickered like a video buffering too slowly. And from deep behind the black tower, I heard it again. The hum. It was louder now. It sounded almost like breathing. The base of the tower was rough concrete. Not polished. Not clean. It felt real. Cold to the touch. Weathered, like it had existed longer than anything else in this broken world. The door was already open. Not ajar, open. As if waiting for me. I hesitated at the threshold. The white glow of the void stopped dead just outside. The inside of the tower was pure black. No ambient light. No reflection. Just dark. I stepped in. The air changed. Thick. Still. I could hear my own heartbeat now. The door behind me didn't close, but it was gone when I turned around. Nothing but a wall. I kept walking forward. My footsteps sounded different here. Heavier. Like I was stepping through time instead of space. The hallway curved downward, leading deeper. My phone vibrated in my pocket. The screen lit up for the first time since I got here. A single notification, restore point found, 2:17 a.m. I didn't remember setting a restore point. But apparently, someone had. At the bottom of the ramp was a single room. Dimly lit from above by a narrow beam of blue-white light. In the center, a rusted metal terminal. Old. Keyboard cracked. The monitor flickered to life as I approached. Text appeared. You have reached the core of the instability. Multiple versions of you exist. Only one can reboot. Select version, Alex_001, Alex_003, Alex_004_ corrupted, unstable. I stared at the screen. Then, behind me, I heard footsteps. Slow. Dragging. Familiar in the most wrong way. I turned. A figure stepped out from the shadows. It was me. Not mirrored. Not twisted. But older. Paler. Worn down like a photocopy run too many times. He didn't speak. Just stared. And in his eyes, I saw it, he didn't make it out last time. We stood there, staring at each other in the flickering light of the tower core dot. Then he stepped forward and typed something into the terminal. One word. Retry. The terminal blinked. The word he typed, retry, hung on the screen like a dare. The other Alex didn't move. He just waited. The options were still there, Alex_001, Alex_003, Alex_004_ corrupted, current, unstable. I stepped forward and placed my hand on the console. It was cold. Slick with dust. A new prompt appeared, you may restore a previous version or proceed unrepaired. Restore continue. The other version of me tilted his head. There was something pleading in his expression. Or maybe it was just fear. I couldn't tell anymore. We were all echoes now. Variants of the same thought. I stared at the options. My finger hovered over restore. I could go back. Maybe before this place. Maybe before I broke something. But something in me resisted. This version, me, now, was broken. Sure. But he was aware. He had seen the loop. He had felt the void. That had to mean something. I chose continue. The screen blinked once. The lights in the tower shut off. The hum went silent. I opened my eyes. I was lying on the floor of my apartment. Same ceiling fan. Same cracked ceiling tile above the window. Outside, the city. The real one. Cars. Movement. Sound. But something was off. There were no people. No voices. Just shapes. Just placeholders. As if the system hadn't fully loaded this version of reality either. My phone buzzed again. Second attempt, logged. I stood up slowly. Outside, on the bus stop across the street, a new sign had appeared. Simple. White font on black. Next time, don't wake up. The nowhere signal will return tomorrow. Until then, sleep light.